Ben Greenfield, truly a savant in biohacking.
Yeah.
One of the first to get it started.
So smart.
And
He's great.
just how he has hacked himself and have won Me versus Me. He really is one of the first that ever started that too.
Wow.
Tracking everything he can on himself. Like, he's the one that really, his individuality of measurement, some things you can learn so much from him from doing that. But yes, I wasn't able to attend this seminar, but I have seen Ben speak live before. But for you two, what were some things that you took away? Any quotes, any topics that you want to talk on?
Man, honestly, it was one of my favorite lectures of the weekend. A lot of it I knew, or at least had a good baseline of, in terms of what we should be trying to optimize in our life. We want to be prioritizing exercise, nutrition, our fitness, but then also blocking out EMFs and different stuff like that. He took a deep dive into some of the longevity tips, like sarcopenia. I don't know if he actually said the word, but he inferred that with muscle loss and why we need to prioritize strength, power, VO2 max as we age. I think he even touched on lactate. I'm not too sure. But just some other, like a deep dive into stuff that I'm personally interested in. And he made it very easy for the crowd to understand what he was saying. And that's what I really liked. It was easy to retain. I didn't have to, what was he saying? Just very clear, concise on a variety of different topics. And I thought it was one of my favorites. I don't know about you, Doc, but we got to attend that together, and man, I was engaged the whole time. I took a lot of notes on his.
Yeah, it was good. I like the part that he brought up, your body is a battery. And when you look at like just different like electromagnetic fields and how well you have to protect your whole body, your energy, your nervous system. I know he and then we'll probably get into this, he built a house, which I don't know how much it cost, but he pretty much put all the biohacking he possibly could into a house, which is incredible.
Anti-EMF systems.
Yeah.
He has anti-EMF blocking around all of the electricity. So around the cables, he put blockers so it doesn't emit out. Yeah. He actually has studied and found that certain textiles, sofas, flooring, all emit either certain microplastics and or EMFs.
Yep.
And so then he talks about lowering that quality, or lowering that for higher quality, we'll call it materials. Yep. Everything in his house is leather, I believe, from animals.
Yeah. Even his Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, all of that. I've seen a few people do this, Saladino included. You take the Ethernet cable, plug it directly into the Ethernet to phone jack or laptop, and you can keep your phone on airplane mode but still be able to use Wi-Fi directly through an Ethernet cable, so you're not emitting any EMFs or anything like that. So I thought that was super cool too.
The biggest thing he touted, he always touts this, and I keep forgetting, but he goes, "You're a frickin' maniac if you sleep next to your phone and it's not in airplane mode."
Yeah.
He is scared. He goes, "I don't know why you'd ever do it." He goes, "Get that thing away from your head, get that thing away from your balls." He goes, "Put it on EMF or airplane mode." He goes, "I'm telling you, you don't want that."
Wow.
Yeah.
Scariness.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so those are some of the big things that I learned, and there's a bunch of small things. He touched on so many topics.
I like the little segment about alcohol. Yeah. It was funny, not saying, yeah, alcohol is great, go drink it. But he touched on if you were to drink, there are some studies and that it could have benefits. Specific red wines and certain tequilas could have potential benefits in small doses here and there. Yeah, obviously, moderation in certain doses, examples of like red wine.
But if you do like to enjoy that, how can you best hack it for yourself long term, and what might that look like? Because we've been able to experience that everyone has something that they want. No one's perfect, and it is incredibly exhausting to try to be perfect. Guys like Ben who can say, "Look, this is just something that you can do to not feel so dang bad about wanting to have some relaxation and just enjoy it." But then again, it's a little bit more optimized for your health. Obviously, alcohol is what it is, but it's at least a little bit better than the latter.
100%.
If you want to indulge here and there
Here's the best way.
in a calm state with your family, have a glass of wine at the dinner table or something like that, it's cool, assuming you're not slamming alcohol every day, then it becomes a detriment. But that was just a small piece I thought was funny since we were in Vegas and he got the crowd going with that, so that was cool. But
and I'll leave the links below to that Parker's seminar that he gave us as well, just so you guys at home will have access to that. And I know Corey opened up that link, and it gave different like products that he uses, different types of insight and information on all the topics he talked about.